The soap we have tonight is Mike's Natural, and this is their lime scent. This is the first time I've tried Mike's. Looking forward to it. I heard really, really good things about it. The brush we're going to use is Soaking. It is a Semogue Owners Club. This is the cherry handle. I've seen darker handles of the cherry, but this is kind of a lighter colored cherry handle. It's a Boar brush, and it does, as with all Boars, need to soak for a little bit before you use it. The business end of the shave is with a Personna Platinum Chrome blade. The wrapper for this one is the red, and I think you call these Personna Reds. Unfortunately, Personna offers their blades in different configurations, and it's all the same blade. This one might also be the same as the Lab Blues or the Personna Blues. I'm not really sure, but the verbiage to look for is platinum and then super stainless. So that's what this one is. And you can see by the dots, this has been used 4 times. So this will be the 5th use. I've got a Franken razor here. The head, the business end, is the Christopher Bradley from Karve, K-A-R-V-E. It's a pretty new razor, and it looks really good. I think it's all brass, and it's kind of a matte or bead blasted finish. I've seen online how people can get out a little polishing equipment, some polishing equipment, and turn it into a polished brass, which is really attractive. Just to give you an intro, it has 3 posts on the top cap, so we will put our Personna blade there, like so. And this is the B plate. You can see in the bottom left hand corner. Is that right? Yeah. The bottom left hand corner. Oh, and it duplicates it in the opposite corner. This is probably the most mild plate that I would probably be interested in, so I decided to try that. The fit and finish here is just tremendous. And this is a handle from a Wolfman Guerilla. It just felt like using it tonight because I don't usually use it with my Guerilla head. It's just too thick. And there's nowhere for the blade to go. I guess it's possible you could misalign it if you're just being ridiculous. And there we go. So, machine finished stainless steel and bead blasted machine finished brass. And as you can see, it's easy to tell if there is a blade in it from I think those make it interesting. So I like the look, and to be honest, I think this looks the shape of this head looks a little bit better on this handle, because the Guerilla is a much thinner head, and so I don't think it fits the look of this fat handle, in my own personal opinion. All right, so I have smeared about a 1/4 teaspoon of the soap, Mike's Natural, in the bottom of my Dollar Tree cereal / soup bowl. The brush here, the Boar, has soaked for enough time. I'm going to kind of shake as much water out of it as I can. This is probably the 43rd, 46th use of this brush. So it's a damp brush that we're using. It's not really wet because I shook it out. Look at that, it's doing a pretty good job with this soap. And I didn't look up any specifics on how to lather Mike's really well, so I'll just be playing it by ear. So we are building a little bit of a paste there. let's, now that I've mixed it for just a little while, I'm going to use my medicine syringe here to put in probably half a teaspoon at a time. I do use lukewarm water, and I have hard water. So hopefully Mike's is fine for lathering with hard water. Nice lime scent coming up, nothing too twisty or freaky about it, just a nice clean lime scent. This boar is kind of young, you know, it definitely hasn't settled in yet. It usually takes about 6 to 9 months of usage, and so I'm far from that. However, it is definitely in the realm of being very good for a bowl lathering job. Just fine. This Mike's is a hard soap. It's not super hard, but it's pretty hard. You can make a dent in with your pad of your finger if you want. It's almost, oh, now see, just that, yeah, I added in another, so we've got 1 teaspoon in here, and so we are starting to work things out. I have a little metal 1/4 teaspoon measuring spoon, and it didn't have too much trouble getting in there and hooking out the soap. But any more hard and it might have been an issue. So I'm guessing I'm going to be able to make tons of lather, because a lot of times the harder soaps, it's like they're more concentrated or something. And so you can get away with maybe 1/8 of a teaspoon of soap for your 3+ passes. When they're a really soft soap, I find that I usually have to use a whole teaspoon, a whole half teaspoon. What am I saying? A whole 1/4 teaspoon instead of the 1/8 of a teaspoon. So the lather is building. So now we have 2 teaspoons in. Fill up the syringe again. So Karve is the company that makes this razor. I do not. I have a couple of brass razors. They are the Fatigues, and they are either chrome or nickel plated brass. And so I haven't used that razor head yet. It is new to me. Just got it in the other day. Looking forward to trying it out. It comes with different base plates, like a lot of razors. And starting with the lower one, just to kind of see the comfort. Because what I can then do is start moving up to the thicker base plates, and I can compare the comfort. I can also obviously compare the efficiency and how well it cuts hair. A lot of times it will get more efficient as you get more aggressive, but then you start to maybe lose comfort. So we're starting easy. I think one of the online resources said that the B, and he on his website gives data on the gap of each of his base plates, and so you definitely will be able to have some information to make a good decision. And I think I read that like the DE89 from either Muley or Edwin Jagger, you know, it's a very popular head. A lot of people have it and have used it. It's great for veterans and also for beginners. And I think that's what they were comparing the DE89 head to, was the B base plate. Now, I think he calls it on his website maybe a guard. I'm not sure. Mostly, he's a Canadian maker. And so they may use different terminology with their shaving. But I'm going to probably say base plate because that's what I'm most used to. It's great that he engraved them, so it's very easy to tell what's what. Getting a little bit of light lime coming up to my nose while I'm mixing it up. Like this long handle, as you can see, I'm not getting a ton of soap up touching my fingertips. Okay. We've got long, very flexible peaks. Look at that. You see the bottom one collapse like that? A lot of soaps, you can't take that far. Let's do a little finger test. Nice and slick. Not a lot of cushion. I think I better shave with this. It might thicken up just a hair in terms of cushion. Oh, it takes a second to rinse the slickness off of my fingers. That's a very good sign. So look, it's a terrific gloss. Great sheen. Look at that. Some soaps you can't take to this stage of these long flexible peaks. All right. Oh, by the way, the color of the soap is kind of identical to that brown cardstock that's on the label. It's just kind of a light brown, and you can see the sample that I, a quarter teaspoon that I hooked out of the corner there. Just a nice lime from the puck. Let me get my face wet. The water is cold today. And this bee head, this bee base plate is going to be working on 2 days, 48 hours of beard growth. See how it does. First, let's just see how this mic slathers up. The Personna blades are very good for me in most of my razors, and so that's why I chose this one. Yeah, see, I get a nice little lime scent as I'm working here. That's good. It's not an unscented soap, which is just too common. First pass with me is kind of a pre-shave routine, really, because I don't do one and I have an oily face. So we're kind of cleaning off the oils, getting rid of dirt and old skin cells, moving them around so that shaving can be done more cleanly. All right. All right, there we go. I kind of expected Mike's to give me a little bit more lather, but That's all right. We'll try it out. This handle looks smooth, and it is. But I don't know, maybe because it's the brushed finish, but because it does keep a hold of wet fingers without too much of a problem. Feels very stable. Nice. Very nice. No pulling. Seems like it's pretty efficiently taking care of this 2-day beard. It does have some nice troughs underneath for quick soap removal and rinsing. Now with this particular blade, I'm getting a good bit of blade feel. Makes me glad that I started with this one, but you know what? That could also be because I'm working on a 2-day growth, but it sure looks like it's not going to have a problem at all with knocking down some growth. You know, and I've saw people online with some different resources like a Dremel and some, I think it was a Flitz cloth that they use to shine this guy up really pretty. And very good. And it just looked very nice. And so you can do that yourself. Now I think they're going to come out with a polished one later. This is kind of their first entry into the market. My neck hairs kind of go sideways. They come this way. So as you've seen, I'm going from the top to the bottom, and that is not a with the grain shave. A lot of people do start out with the grain, but my neck is fine with starting out with a cross grain shave. That's basically what I do for all 3 passes is cross grain. For my neck, against the grain pass would really irritate my skin. All right, let's rinse this stuff off. Kind of a 2/3 rinse. Not fully rinsing my face. Okay, that did a really good job. That did a really good job on the first pass. Looks like it's an efficient cutting machine, even only using the B plate. As this brush is still, it's soft, but it is firm, and still got the backbone of a boar that is only being used a month and a half's worth, and I'm not getting any irritation. Sometimes if I shave with an aggressive razor, this guy will kind of tell me about that. Also good on the mics. You saw how thin the previous application was. Let's thicken this one up a little bit, and it worked great. A little bit of lime, I'd say maybe a 2 or a 3 out of 10 in terms of scent strength while I'm applying it. That's really all I care about. I just want to know what I'm using as I'm using it. I mean, that's part of the whole thing, is to enjoy these awesome scents. Otherwise, there's a bunch of very inexpensive soaps out there that would probably be better for you to use. All right, it does look a little thin. But, so this is what you get when you take it to that flexible peak stage that I did. How much water do we have left? So I used 3.5 teaspoons of water on about a 1/4 teaspoon of soap for this Mike's Lime. The Christopher Bradley razor here, it did come with a handle. And I've started not ordering long handles because you don't need more leverage. I keep my fingers kind of close together so that I say this on all my videos, so this may be tired for you if you're a frequent watcher, but if I run over a bump on my skin and I've got the angle wrong, and then when the skin bump pushes on it, see, there's give here. If I'm holding the whole handle, there's not as much give, and I don't want that leverage. So I just want to lightly keep the blade on the surface of the skin. Anyway, so I've been really enjoying shorter handles than usual. I mean, I've got big hands, but been enjoying average sized handles instead of always buying the long ones. And so when I ordered this one, I thought that the 3.5 inch was a little too long. I also think long handles sometimes don't look right proportionally for your razor. I'm not stretching my skin very much. This is really feeling good. Very comfortable. I hope that at the end of the shave, it will reveal that it removed hair really well, because it sure feels good. I hate it when it's a comfortable shave, but not all that good quality. Mike's is feeling really slick on my skin. The razor's really enjoying that. And this is a broken in blade for sure. What is this, like the 5th use? Very nice. It's a very good blade. It seems to be, so far, a good match. Yeah, really good match. Already above average. Wow, I'm really impressed so far with this razor. This is the B. Not nearly as aggressive and efficient as the C and D. With his sizing, I believe if you go smaller, it starts with A and then it goes to like AA. Check his website for more. So this is a really slick lather I've built. In the future, I might back off on the water a little bit. It looks like maybe I should keep up with that quantity of soap, almost a 1/4, really close, but not over a 1/4 of a teaspoon, because that's apparently what I needed. And it's given me a really slick lather. So it seems like Mike's is a really good performer. It'll be even more luxurious, and if I back off on the soap a little bit, it'll get a little bit more creamy. probably still have enough slickness for me. So big win for the mics. All right. Seems to be pretty easy to dial in the right angle. So I ordered the shorter handle, the 3-inch, because I thought the 3.5 was probably going to be a little too long. And I discovered that the 3-inch definitely, it looked a little short. But I found that the balance for me, the balance was very close to the head, like about right here. And I like the center of gravity to be just a little farther back for maneuverability. And so that is the one main reason, not the actual handle length being not grippy, you know, or something like that. It was because of the balance. I'd give the 3.5, I'm sure, is going to change the center of gravity on the razor to probably what might be right in my sweet spot. Also, I will say that after holding his handle, that I really like the finish on it. The patterning that he has, the hatching and the knurling, it is a terrific design because it is a great balance between it being easy to hold and grip and safely hold without any kind of slippage, and comfort. There are definitely some handles out there that are spiky with the knurling and you feel like you're holding on to a file or some sandpaper, and guaranteed you're not going to drop that, but it's not all that comfortable. And so I think they've struck this perfect balance between look, and the texture is just so grippy. It didn't feel like there was going to be any problem at all keeping it safely in your hand, while feeling enjoyable and smooth to hold at the same time. Very cool. All right, so that's the third pass right there. Let me rinse it off. Nice slick soap. Took a while to get it off. The shave feels really good. I definitely don't have any bleeders. I can't feel any rash or a razor burn or anything like that. I don't even really see any redness, and that is uncommon. I'm going to hit my trouble spot up here with a touch-up. My cheeks have maybe 80% baby butt smooth, and that's without doing a against the grain pass at all. All right, so let's and remember this was with 2 days growth. So here's after 3 passes. Here is how much lather we have left. Plenty enough for another full pass or a couple of touch-ups. I would not want to mix this lather any thinner. It would probably, to be honest, it would probably still work just fine. The soap might fly off like that a little more often, and I find that a little irritating. I'm going to go ahead and do my cheeks again. Maybe take a slight against the grain turn. See how it acts. So this is definitely on the thinner side. This might be perfect for some of you straight razor shavers. So Mike's is definitely a strong soap. Very, a lot of soaps just don't handle this kind of thinning, this kind of hydration this well. This is truth. Even some of the top ones, you know, mentioned by just about anybody. My cheeks kind of get done well no matter what I do. So you've probably noticed I'm doing almost the same pass. And it's because they're done really well no matter what. I gotta remember to switch and do this section down here upside down from the bottom to the top. I'm not, my left hand is not pressing down. On the skin. It's not stretching it or anything. It's just kind of preventing it from moving too much so that the skin stays predictable. The finish on this razor head is terrific. Those posts that I put the blade on are exactly flush with the bottom of the razor head. So it looks like this razor and blade are a very good combination for my skin type, at least. Very nice. It's the fourth pass, and I don't believe I'm really experiencing any kind of irritation. And because, I mean, the soap is being so slick, it's letting me go back over an area I've been over 4 times. And that might generate a little irritation, but I sometimes do that just to kind of prove the slickness of the soap. Some soaps you do not want to go back over an area that you have removed the lather from. This one gives you a little bit more grace. I'm going to say that slickness is easily on par with soaps like Barrister and Man, slightly above Sterling, but Sterling is cheaper, and so it's kind of the better value. Sterling lather is definitely slick enough to be a very enjoyable shaving soap. But the note here is that there's a pretty good number of soaps that I can use 1/8 of a teaspoon to generate all the lather I need. And this one needed almost a 1/4 of a teaspoon, double that. And so that might mean that this is, it would take 2 cans of this to equal 1 can of one of those other soaps. And that, if this is, even if this is the same price, now you're paying double. So that's something to pay attention to if you are on the budget mindset. Don't compare ounces to ounces. You got to compare uses. You know, how much soap do you use each time? And that's where I think the little measuring spoon, and I got these at Old Cheapo. What I wanted was a metal one that had a thin lip. There's a lot of plastic ones out there that are thicker, and it's good for strength, but it's not great for digging soap out. It needs to be kind of thin like that, in my opinion. And this one works really well. I mean, it could be better. As you can see, it's very thin, and so there's some flex right there, but I just work around it. Someday I might stumble upon a better, and I'm actively looking for an 1/8 measure just to try that out. So this is a little above average. So I kind of, but it was super comfortable. It wasn't super smooth, but I mean, you felt like you were shaving, you felt like you were cutting hairs. And so it wasn't like maybe the Fatip Testina Gentile, which is really smooth, but also pretty efficient. So I'm looking forward to increasing the base plate just to see if the closeness of the shave, especially in this little area right here, if that improves. So we just did 4 passes. A few hairs, I can see some length. On more hairs, I can see a few tips. There are definitely some that are shaved flush, and it's terrific. But here's the thing, after the skin kind of dehydrates after the shave, and the follicles kind of change, or the skin around it changes, this will look even better. And so I think it's a great shave. It was comfortable, and I definitely recommend it. As a brass razor, it's likely this thing will last a few generations. So after post skin feels great with this soap. I feel like I could just walk away. Let me reach down and pick something out of my drawer here. I'm going to skip the oh hey, I'm back at my home, and so I can do witch hazel. This is Thayer's, and it is unscented, alcohol free, a little bit of aloe in there too. I use an aerosol can to, it keeps it from kind of dripping through my fingers and being wasted. And then I'm going to put on, once this kind of settles in, Le Grand Chypre from Barrister and Mann Aftershave Splash. Citrus is the first item listed, and so maybe that'll kind of go with the lime that I've got on my face. Now that the shave is done, I'm going to start to clean up and be back. One nice thing about this brass razor is that even though it's not polished, I believe that as it ages, it'll have a patina to it. My skin gets kind of irritated if I pull this stuff all around my face, so I kind of pat it a little bit. A little bit of stinging in a couple of spots. This is an alcohol splash, but gone pretty quickly. I don't use this much. Spilled some around on the bottle. It's all right. It's nice. Classy. I don't know what labdanum smells like. It's got a little bit of rose and frankincense in there. There's usually aren't ones that I gravitate towards, but trying to expand my horizons. I don't think that it's very feminine. Maybe it's part of that. Maybe the frankincense and the citrus. I don't really know what oak moss smells like either. But I think this is a pretty intelligently designed combination. I'm pretty happy with so far. Yeah, like I was saying, as you use this razor, the parts that contact your skin and that you touch with your fingers are going to, I'm going to guess, that's going to be like a polishing effort. And so over the years, this will take on its own character and look, and I think that's pretty cool. I'm glad I tried this out tonight. Do I think it's worth? It's more expensive than purchasing like a Parker or a Merkur or a Jagger. And I think that it's probably worth it in the sense of the fit and finish is just superior. I probably think it's a little more attractive than the Rockwell, but it's similar where you change the base plates. And right now I think it gave me a pretty good result, but it was with the B plate, and I kind of was expecting it to be a little bit more smooth and comfortable. And so what I ended up with was it wasn't uncomfortable at all. It just felt like it was doing its job shaving and cutting hairs. But I expected maybe a little bit less of that since it's the lower depth setting. And then when it gave me kind of average to above average results, yeah, okay, I'm happy with it. I look at it now, it looks a lot better. Like I told you, the skin is changing a little bit, kind of resetting back to status quo, and so the shave is improving as the I guess the follicles are pulling in maybe just a little bit, pulling the hairs back in just enough, and so I think it gave me a very nice shave. I don't even see any razor burn, which is uncommon. I usually have a few little tiny red patches that disappear in maybe 15, 20 minutes. So yeah, I'd say that in terms of the modern razors that are out today, this is probably worth it to go ahead and grab this guy instead of the Parkers or the Merkurs. Now I might right now I really love the Fatipes, and they're just like $25, and so I would probably go with one of them over this one, just because they're such good razors. They're really effective and smooth at the same time. But I've just tried one base plate and one blade, so we're going to give it another some more runs, see how things go. We'll see how those more aggressive base plates work out. Hope this was some good information for you in some way. So after 4 passes, I still ended up with this much lather, so I could do another pass if I wanted to. So I could back off probably the soap just a tad, but I do like having some margin at the end for touch-ups. So I'm going to clean up further, but the face is done. I am smelling a little bit of the powdery and rose, and not quite enough of the citrus. I think at least the frankincense is in there, kind of maturing the rose a little bit. So at least there's that. I might just have to kind of wear this one a few times and see how I adjust. Your scents change, the way you appreciate them, that kind of thing, over time. So there we go. Put all my stuff away, get to sleep. So Mike's did super well. Desert Island question: would I be happy with a 20-year supply stranded on a desert island with some Mike's Natural lime, with this razor, with the Christopher Bradley brass razor, and with a supply of the Personna blades? And the answer is a resounding yes. I'd be very happy. All of these items worked very well, and I got an above average shave, and it was comfortable and enjoyable. No pulling at all. Very safe feeling on the face. I didn't feel any danger. Didn't feel like I was just going to slice something off if I miscued something. So there you go. Good results. Take care. Have a good night.